it's so interesting, and it's one of the things that we teach in our course as we try to unpack and unlock this high net worth individual. One of the things that they count as a hobby is their investments, and their number one person that they consider for advice is their tax professional, right? So in that, we get a lot of gasps when we put that up, because most people don't realize how entwined and intertwined you are in someone's actual life when they are high net worth and ultra high net worth and are your clients. So when we think about what's happening right now and someone picks up the phone and calls you, you say, you know what, I'm going to run over and pick up this new house. I want to, upsize, downsize, whatever, trying to decide between picking up $1.5 million mortgage, right, or using my investments to pay that difference. Can you walk through how you advise people on this?
Sure. So a lot of it has to do with considering the amount of the interest that is deductible. And as we were talking about before, under the new tax law, that limit is at a $750,000 mortgage principal balance to determine deductibility. If you have a $1.5 million principal and you pay $60,000 of interest, only half of that is deductible because it's capped at $750,000. So it's understanding that, you can always finance at that amount, but part of it is no longer deductible, and you have to understand the difference between how much you're paying and what you could get in the market doing something else with your investments, and kind of the trade-offs for that time value of money.
It's interesting, right? Like this, and as we teach, this is a high interest point, right, for these folks, because as they get up into that level, they lose deductions. So deductions really are their single and most primary interest, right? Like this
Right.
is what they're interested in.
Yeah, so under the tax law currently, most individuals can only deduct a few things as itemized deductions. They can deduct mortgage interest up to a $750,000 balance, or $1 million if they have an older loan before 2018. They can deduct charitable contributions, which are a great way to make a deduction and reduce taxes. And they can deduct up to $10,000 of state, local, and property taxes, which most people in the luxury market who own homes are paying way more than that. So that deduction is very much capped in the current environment.
So this answer to sell your house and go somewhere else is really not as simple as, hey, the interest rates are low, right? That plays into it. But all of these other things also play into that. One of the other things that, now here we sit in 2021, and 2017 was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And now we're in a new administration. And so there are some things proposed that make 2021, even with all of the conditions that you've discussed, also could make 2021 something for people to look at, right? And make some moves. So what would those things that are being proposed, like, can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, so on the campaign trail, President Biden, then Vice President Biden, was talking about what he wanted to do with the tax plan, which most candidates are going to do. And what he's proposing on the campaign trail, and what he's reiterated during his address to Congress a few weeks ago, is that he wants to increase the tax rate for the top tax rate from 37%, where it is at the moment, back up to 39.6%, which was the rate right before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act went into play. He wants to treat capital gains for people who are earning more than $1 million as ordinary income, instead of the reduced, more preferable tax rate that applies to qualified dividends and capital gain rates right now, which is 15% or 20%, depending on your level of income. There's some thoughts about changing the amount of deductions, so maybe bringing back some of these state and local taxes so you can deduct more, but then there's a limitation on your Schedule A, your itemized deduction schedule, that reduces that amount. So there's just all these different things that are coming into play that might impact people who are in this high net worth or ultra high net worth regime.